Hello, cats and kittens. Oriwa Jose, Yaroshku. I'm back in the crisis corner, and I'm trying to put my thoughts together on She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Eh, I'm 3 episodes in. I didn't put up a review for two, and I'm just getting this in on episode three. I'm just going to mash them together because I'm torn. See, it'd be easy for me to go in on pick the show apart and just be very negative about it. Here's the thing. I rather enjoyed episode two to a reasonable degree. Uh, there was less man bashing, although there was some, but not as much as one. And I still don't forgive him for what they meant to Bruce. Uh, Only to the extent that I don't think they depicted Jennifer's dealing with Bruce in a fair manner. But that's a separate issue. He's gone for the most part, at least for the time being, and there's that. Um, my problem with the series is I don't understand how they want us to view Jennifer Walters. Uh, in most sitcoms, you either have a straight man surrounded by oddballs or an oddball surrounded by a straight man. Whereas you see, like, I Love Lucy, for those of you that even know what that it means. You had Lucy, who was a screwball surrounded by straight men. And the comedy came off of her trying to achieve her goal and pulling all of these people into it, into these farcical situations. It's a farcical comedy, which She-Hulk is. Then you would have a situation like, I don't want to get too much more obscure, but something like Dear John, where you have a straight man, or Taxi, if you want to go there, where you got a straight man surrounded by oddballs. And he gets pulled into their weird situations, trying to help them out, and the comedy ensues off of that. Now, those are, like I said, they're old references. I'm an old man, so whatever. I can go The Good Place. I could go different, examples, but it's all going to be the same thing. Usually you have someone who's either the center of the hurricane or the hurricane itself. And, you generate your humor or whatever off of that type of a dynamic. And I don't know what they're trying to pull here, but in episode 2, I kind of liked the fact that Jennifer was kind of like put upon and trying to bring this case together, by hook or by crook, to resolve the issue. And she seemed a little more relatable. But I need to know what I'm supposed to think about it. I mean, She-Hulk, derivative of the Hulk, either way, it comes back to the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type thing. And in the comics, whereas the Hulk was Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, emphasis on the tragedy, She-Hulk had the same duality, but kind of reversed. And not reversed, but to a lighter tone, in that Jennifer Walters was more, could be or was more the put upon, mild mannered persona, whereas She-Hulk was more of the, you know, outgoing YOLO type party girl, whatever. And the current She-Hulk is one note. She's not. She's just she's the same person, regardless of the persona. And that's a little problem to me. Now it could be that they're working towards their Jennifer seeing the benefits of being She-Hulk, or seeing She-Hulk as more of a release, which would be cool because I need to see that there is an effect upon Jennifer of being the She-Hulk. Even though this isn't a battle type, this is a comedy. It's a half-hour sitcom, so it's not really about fight situations. It's about law, and that's another thing. I'd like them to lean more into the law aspect and her being a lawyer. And even at that, is she like a really good lawyer? Is she a excellent lawyer or a mediocre lawyer? Which either one is fine, to be honest with you. If she's like like I say, if she's a lawyer that's kind of like, let's go back a little bit. How does she see her career? They make references to the fact that she's, aware of the debt that she got into, going to college or whatever, and how she wanted to have her career, and she has her business cards in her office before when she was at the DA's office. Then she lost that. That's why I kind of like the second episode when she lost her job, and the little scene where she's interviewing, and you notice the backgrounds behind her she started interviewing at high class law firms, and then you look at the backgrounds, they look shabbier and shabbier and shabbier, and she couldn't get any jobs because of She-Hulk. Because now most criminal defense law firms will see her as a liability. Okay, you can see where she'd be resentful of being the She-Hulk. Okay, I thought that was cool. And getting hired by, was it J.K. Ellis and whatever. This is all right. Now, I didn't read all the Dan Slott's. Apparently, this is taken from the Dan Slott comics, which I haven't read all of. I read some of, and I enjoyed it. But at the very least, this is going to make me want to go back and read Dan Slott's run. Either way, I enjoyed the fact that she had to go and take Blonsky's case. Now, I'm assuming they're finished with the Abomination in the MCU, because he's not, at this point, he's not useful in a high stakes situation. So he's off the table. That's the thing with She-Hulk. She-Hulk usually pulled in B, C, or D list villains to do cameos or something like that. You weren't rarely going to get like Dr. Doom or somebody show up in She-Hulk and have an actual adventure, because they're A-list people, and you can't have them drawn necessarily into this comedic situation, because then you got to flip them back over to be real serious. It doesn't really work. But so that means Abomination is off the table. He can't interact with the Hulk anymore. It's done. That's not a huge problem. But kind of skipping ahead into the third episode, the Wrecking Crew, we could have used those guys, man. They really, really did the Wrecking Crew dirty. They look like trash. I don't know what their plans are for them going forward, but the Wrecking Crew was kind of, you could have spun them into like some Spider-Man stuff. You could have put them on. You could have used them in some other places, but now they're trash. Unless, I don't know. I don't know where they were going with that. But they just needed somebody to jump her in the alley, and they used the Wrecking Crew, and now the Wrecking Crew they're trash. Anyway, what I really need for this series to do is get me to understand how I'm supposed to view Jennifer Walters and her relationship with her alter ego. If there's none, I think that's a problem for me because what's the point of duality anyway? You know, I don't need the raging savage shield. It's fine. You know, she's an attorney. She's got to work out law stuff or whatever. But her personality, that she is Jennifer Walters, a kind of meek, mousy type person who is um, given release by her alter ego, and therefore, like I say, is more YOLO and more, gregarious and all of that stuff, or not. You know, I don't see the difference. You know, that's just me going there. I got something else. Like I say, her opposition, going back to the first two episodes, her opposition to being a hero is what? That is it purely because it interferes with her career path? I mean, if that was the case, just dive into that. Say she's career oriented. You could even say, she had an eye on being the youngest DA in history, and she had a career path. She had it all laid out. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, and then she just has this curveball thrown at her and takes everything out. And now she's scrambling. Trying to figure it out. That's why I kind of like the second, episode. It kind of put her in that situation. Uh, or you could have went the path that she was just like the the guy that's like winging it, And she was like, "Oh, I got this." Law was just a job. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even a job that she was good at, but she wasn't really that ambitious. You know what I mean? She was just doing it because it was something that she could do. Maybe her whole family, they were lawyers and she was just going along, whatever. I don't know. There's some ways that you could have put uh, her character that would make it easier for me to relate to. Right now, she's kind of like straddling the fence between being. I mean, if she was even a bit more, I don't know, narcissistic, but that'd be more like the Tony Stark thing. But self-centered, neurotic, or something. You know what I'm saying? And you could play the alter egos off of each other. But as it is right now, I don't see enough of a difference between the two for me to understand. But that's one thing. I think they could slow down the develop. They could slow down a little bit, and that's hard to say because you're dealing with a farcical comedy, which usually moves real quick. But you got to develop the side characters a little bit better. Dennis is, to me, he's one note, and he's getting to be more of an irritation than anything else. Because I mean, he's supposed to be the stand-in for all trash men, who are overly toxic masculinity or whatever. But he's one note. That's it. He's not even enjoyably bad. I go back to Dear John, which probably nobody even remembers. Kirk. Kirk was like a jerk dude. Whatever, but he was funny. You know what I mean? This dude ain't funny. He's nothing. He's there's no subtlety to him. There's nothing. All right, I like Pug. I think he's all right, and I like Nikki. I think she's okay. I like the boss at the law firm. I think he's okay. Okay, so the side characters are not that bad. Take Dennis out, you'll be okay. I love what they did with, even though I'd like to have the Abomination around for like fights with the Hulk, but that's not going to happen. But Tim Roth killed it. That's Blonsky. I thought that was great. I think Wong being the Sorcerer Supreme is a problem for me, but I think he did a good job. My favorite, the funniest thing in there to me, and it's odd, it's not even that a major issue, but when the trial ends and the parole board guy says, hey Wong, you helped aid a dude from escape from prison and it's a crime. And he's like, well, I gotta go. So Mr. Portland walks through and then Jennifer comes and straightens up the mic. I thought that was good. I thought that was good comedy. Every once in a while they do some stuff that's funny. I mean, there's a good show here. There's good stuff here. It's stuff that you can work with if you just. First of all, the CGI is ridiculous. It's bad, and you hate to harp on it, but when count the costs. You made a show that was going to be highly dependent on CGI. You got to come through, otherwise it's going to stand out. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? You come in with bad CGI. And you're going to hear about it. So there's that. In spaces, in some spots, it's absolutely horrible. And then the stuff where it's always dark, and you can barely make her out. You can barely make out She-Hulk, like when they're in the bars and stuff like that. Whatever. It's just bad. But that said, all right, fine. Other than that, there's enough good pieces in here for a good show. If they can keep down the, I guess, man-hating or whatever, but even that is to be expected, I guess, if you're doing, not necessarily because it's a show about a woman, but it seems to be written by people with an axe to grind, so it is what it is. I just need to give me a difference between Jennifer and She-Hulk. Play into the duality, play into the law aspect of things. Try to, I don't know. I'm just a little bit. I want to like this show because I'm a fan of the character, and I'm a little bit exasperated because they're not giving me a main character that I can relate to. And you don't have. And it's not one of them things like you don't understand because she's a woman. I love Lucy. You know what I'm saying? It's not about man or woman. It's about comedy. It's about the character. Lucy wanted to be in show business. Regardless of her talent level, she wanted to be in show business and was trying to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just tripping on her escapades of doing whatever. What is it that Jennifer wants? Does she want to be a lawyer, hardcore, and she's being tripped up by this superhero business? And lean into it. You know what I'm saying? And then you can do an evolution where she says she's tired of being confounded by all of this, and She-Hulk becomes the release, and she appreciates what She-Hulk can be for her. Maybe that's the direction that they're going in. I don't know. Now, another, okay, here's one. The big thing that everybody was getting off about in episode 3 was the whole Megan Thee Stallion thing and the twerking. First of all, I don't know who Megan Thee Stallion is, and that's not a problem for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who a lot of people are. My interest in hip hop fell off about the early 2000s. I don't go out looking for new hip hop or new music in general. I listen to what I listen to, and if I hear about somebody that's hot, that's somebody that's coming up, it's usually from a video game, a TV show, a movie, or whatever. So I don't need to know who Megan Thee Stallion is. I get it. She's a celebrity, fine. Okay. If you had a situation where I knew that Jennifer Walters was like a repressed kind of neurotic, repressed person that was too stuffy or whatever. And then she runs into Megan, and Megan kind of pulls her out, and you get a give me the money, a show me the money type situation. I got you. But there was no setup to that. You know what I'm saying? Your after credit is baffling because I don't understand why she's twerking with homegirl in the office. There's no setup. There's nothing to it. I, I literally, it doesn't really mean anything. Now, if this was Megan Thee Stallion, you know, pulling Jennifer out through She-Hulk, or Jennifer as She-Hulk sees this as being, oh, this is cool. I'm hanging out with homegirl, whatever, you know, and she loosens up. I got you. If that's what they were trying to convey, they missed, in my estimation, because we didn't get enough of the stuffy, repressed, you know, alter ego to make that work, in my opinion. I mean, the distinction is not that great to the point where I can say that this person needs to lighten up. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Let me know what you think. Did I have a? I mean, like I say, the only problem I had with that scene is it didn't make no sense. There was no setup to it. It literally looked like something that they threw in there just for whatever reason. I can't even tell you why, but you know, that's just me. There's a great show here, or at least a very good show here, but it just needs more development. It needs more. It's the main character, it's Jennifer Walters. I don't get where they're going with her. Maybe that's coming. I hope, whatever. But let me know what you think. To me, if they don't pull this up within the next couple of episodes, I can see it having problems, maybe even getting canceled. But I'm trying to not be completely negative about this. I think that there's something there to work with. It just needs a better central character, or I need to understand the central character better. Let me know what you think. Episode 4 is coming up this Thursday. I'm going to be checking it out. Hopefully things get better. Who knows? Rest in peace, Wrecking Crew. Until next time, stay loose.